Good morning, members of the Fourth Estate. My name is Bernard Nyamaro, Director Corporate Communications, Juhudi Africa, and I'm here to make a statement on issues pertaining politics of patronage in Kisii County and the status of leadership and management in Kisii County government. Now, cognizant of Article 33 of the Constitution of Kenya, which provides that or which gives protection to the right to freedom of expression, I today want to make very summative and conclusive issues regarding what is happening in Kisii. Now, it is imperative to understand and realize that on Sunday last week, I was one of the professionals who attended the Bomas of Kenya meeting, which brought together Kisii leaders and all professionals to chart a way forward on the visit of the president and also the homecoming of the appointed cabinet secretary from Kisii, C.S. Machogu Ezekiel. Now, in attendance, I want to confirm that there were members of ODM, including the Member of Parliament from Machoge, Obadia Barongo, and also other members like Dr. Manduku. Now, it is clear from my conscience that that day, Barongo seems to be a serious mole for the ODM party leader Raila Odinga, because on the following day of Monday, this Member of Parliament and others met with Raila Odinga and the Simba arati, the now Kisii County Governor in Kisii, and plotted a coup to paint the name of C.S. Matiang'i as being the enigma in the politics of Gusii, and also to bring about to destabilize the whole process of what was being planned at Bomas. Members of the Fourth Estate, I want to confirm to you that on Thursday there was a meeting with Raila Odinga and these members of parliament after they had plotted a coup, a self-assassination coup against the former CS Matiang'i. I want to tell Matiang'i and Simba and Raila Odinga that the State Department of Interior and Coordination of Government Functions has distanced itself from the issue of raiding CS Matiang'i's home at Karen. And indeed, there was no raid, because even the media has not disclosed the photos and images of the police officers who Matiang'i, Raila, Simba, and other members, a section of members who are allied to them, which have been brought to public. And so it is correctly or truthfully right to say that this plot was hatched by Raila, Simba, and Matiang'i to seek sympathy for Matiang'i in readiness to come to Kisii and cause havoc, change the mindset and thinking of gusii in Kisii to hate and discredit, disregard, and distance themselves from the leadership of His Excellency the President William Ruto. I want to say that to that effect, Raila Odinga, who has been a wonderful man in this country in terms of socio political and economic development. He has worked well and toiled a lot in respect to bringing about the democracy that we are enjoying. But truth be said that Raila Odinga, after having been trounced by William Samoei Ruto, he had to go back into the oblivion state. I can say that in any given democracy and in any given growing economy and state or country, any community always inclines itself to the ruling party and the government of the day so that it can be able to absorb and be plotted for development from the said ruling government. Now, it is very clear that in between 2018 and 2022, before elections, Raila made a handshake with Uhuru Kenyatta, and indeed they worked well. What is sad is that during that time, the Kisii community did not, and I say did not, actually benefit from the handshake. That is why today I'm here to confirm this story, that Raila should keep off completely from the politics of Kisii, from the development of Kisii, because he did not influence, he did not bring about any development in Kisii. What he did, what Raila did, Raila influenced Uhuru Kenyatta to bring the following in the Luo Nyanza communities. One, the Uhuru Market, which is a mega project. Two, the Kikomi. We saw the revival of Kisumu cotton mills, and this is where Uhuru Kenyatta buys his current t-shirts, the brand of Kenya. Three, the road network, and also he created a lot of employment opportunities for the Luo community. And above all, the revival of the railway, which actually commenced few months ago before elections of 2022. And so when we come to Kisii, what we realize? Nothing. It's only after Kisii, which received President Uhuru Kenyatta and matiang'i in the establishment or the launch of the BBI. That is the only thing we received in Kisii. We received the launch of the BBI, but I want to say that the former Governor James Ongwae had implored the former President Uhuru Kenyatta actually to help in the establishment and the confirmation of the state lodge. Also, there was about 50 or so million shillings after very serious negotiations and the former governor trying to bring about this development and trying to implore the president. He gave about 50 or 100 million shillings to actually be able to expand the Gusii Stadium. That is the only development we've had from the handshake of Raila and Uhuru. It now defeats logic that today, when we have had elections and the government of the day in place, the same Raila Odinga, Simba Arati, and matiang'i can seek sympathy just to actually push away the president. Recently, Raila brought together all the Luo Nyanza leaders. He gave them blessings and asked them to unite for the cause or for the good cause of economic development in the region from the current government, which is being led by His Excellency William Samoei Ruto. Now, we saw the president actually traversing all of the counties of Nyanza, including our neighboring county, which is Migori County. We saw members under the leadership of the Luo community parading all other stakeholders from Migori. When you go down here in Rongo, we are a neighbor of Migori and Homa Bay County, but we were not actually considered to be part of them. Now, truth again be said that today, Raila Odinga is an enemy of the Gusii community. He is an enemy of Gusii. Now, the president has organized, and there is planning which is going on for the last 1.5 months. The president is actually planning to visit Gusii so that he can be able to also give us an opportunity to offer our sentiments and request him for more development, for development in this region. Now, what is imperative is that Raila Odinga, after the meeting at Bomas and the meeting on Tuesday, now they want to create political patronage against Gusii. And I want to say that Raila, you are wrong. We are over elections. It is over. What we need now is sobriety, peace, and also you need to give us room as Gusii to unite ourselves. It is not Raila to unite Gusii. It is the Gusii leadership to unite Gusii. Now, what I can say, that above all those things, Raila, you have no moral or legal or constitutional authority to come to Gusii ahead of the presidential visit, because this is what they want to paint in the leadership. This is what they are planning to do. One, the agenda of Raila Odinga, Simba, Arati, and Fred Matiang'i. One is to dismantle. They want to dismantle Governor James Ongwae's political strength in Gusii, because we saw him decamp from ODM to join President Ruto's ruling party and give him support. It is always in political philosophies that once we are done with elections, all past stories, including the elections, are over. Now we must support the government of the day. And that is exactly what Governor James Elvis Omaribongwae did. He had to concede the defeat that his party that he has worked for a long time with Raila Odinga was defeated, and for him to see that all the projects and programs initiated in 10-year term are actualized by supporting the government of the day led by Raila Odinga. Two, Raila Odinga, Simba, Arati, and Matiang'i mission is to render Ezekiel Machogu, the CS, null and void. And they want to paint him as being unable to unite Gusii and being incompetent actually to become the Gusii spokesman. And this has been seen because you cannot override the political power of an opposition leader that now you want to paint Matiang'i as a supernatural being to be the continued spokesman of Gusii. That is the agenda of the trio. Three, they want to galvanize Simba's political base and rebrand him from his lost fame and the faded popularity. In the last 3 months, we've had very serious issues which are cropping up against Simba Arati. He is a failed governor from all sectors of the economy in Gusii. He is a man who is exhibiting arrogance and vengeance, intimidation, and playing politics of segregation. And by so doing, his vows to work against the system of Governor James Ongwae has come true, and that is why now the three are actually coming to Kisii to be able to show their mighty, that it is only them who can be able to rule Kisii. Their agenda also is to show their mighty and declare Matiang'i as the most powerful seers that ever existed in the world and in Gusii. Now, I want to castigate the issue of self-atrocity, self-destruction, self-ammunition, and self-raid, self-assassination against Matiang'i. It is illogical, even at that time, in the night of when Matiang'i was being raided, for the Kisii governor driving himself and saying that he has heard while at Suswa that CS Matiang'i has been raided and he should get back so that he can be able to stand with him. It is illogical. It is being politically incorrect, because there is no big show between Matiang'i and Simba Arati. It's only that now Matiang'i gave a lot of money in the last campaign. And remember, I was in the secretariat of, I was one of the members in the Simba Arati secretariat, and I can attest to the whole world that Matiang'i had financed Simba a lot of money so that he will become one of the governors in Kisii. Now, and finally, Matiang'i, Simba Arati, and Raila are trying to pretend and show the world that Raila still commands Kisii votes, hence rendering all Kisii leaders as weak, lame, and incompetent to deliver the promises in economic development aspirations of Gusii. Now, it is illogical for Raila to troop to Kisii, to pretend to galvanize, to unite Gusii, when we have our own leaders who are capable of uniting Gusii and planning ahead to achieve the economic development of Kisii County. And finally, I want to state, without fear of contradiction, that we are not ready to receive Raila in Kisii, and it is wrong in the political thinking an opposition leader to come to Kisii ahead of a 1.5 planned meeting on the visit of the president. It has never worked, and that shows some kind of wanting to dislodge the president's agenda, wanting to actually revert Gusii into being in opposition against the government and against the will of the people that was declared at the ballot in 2022 August as having President William Ruto as the president-elect and the current president of UDA in our country. Now, I therefore want to call on Raila on the following. 1, to desist and to call off any other meeting to visit Kisii before President Ruto comes. 2, that I want him to advise his son, Simba Arati, to give an account on why he cannot pay all pending bills as directed by the controller of budget. 3, that he should advise Simba Arati to give an account of all ghost workers he identified in Kisii County government. And remember that we asked the Senate to call Simba Arati to give light on the issues that he addressed, which we don't know and which is neither here or there, that there are ghost workers in Kisii County government. Three, I'm calling on the three, Simba, Arati, Matiang'i and Raila, to ask Simba, Arati to give an account of the status of insurance for 33 government vehicles which were cancelled by the APA insurance company. 5, to give an account of the tenders of negligence. We are aware that Simba, Arati has completely changed and actually dismantled the committee and also transferred all the members who are trained by the World Bank to spearhead the program, which is 100 million construction of the vegetable markets in Marani and Magena, worth 100 million. 6, to give an account of nepotism, which I will discuss briefly, and chronism in his government. And 7, that Simba, Arati should give an account of 7 million shillings out of 10 million shillings which were received from the exchequer during the Kikoska Games. He should give an account of the 7 million shillings because the Kikoska members who attended Kikoska in Kisumu were given only 3 million. Where is 7 million? Now, I also want Simba, Arati and the entire his team to discuss on to give an account of using personal vehicles instead of government vehicles. We have seen Simba, Arati using his personal vehicles, using number plates for registered government vehicles and transferring them in his into his government. We want also, instead of Raila coming to gimmick that he is the savior of Kisii, he should be discussing to us the status of Kisii UK Health Alliance, a project worth 500 million, which has gone to the Lake Region Economic Basin. The center, the cancer center, which is neither here or neither there. The Nyangweta factory, sugar factory. We need to understand the status of the Kisii city, which was a 12 billion project initiated by Governor Ongwae. Where is it? Why is he sleeping on it and trying to politicize and to cause havoc in Kisii, just right from Kawangware, as the story says? And also we want him to tell us the status of the budget which is in court and the supplementary budget. It is very clear that Simba, Arati sponsored the budget approval last year in June and July. And the case is in court, which is contentious. He sponsored, he gave money. I was present in his home when he was actually funding the former MCAs who allied to him, including Onuso and many more. And they filed a case to stop the approval and passage of the budget 2022-2023 budget. It is unfortunate that it is out of this budget that Simba, Arati has archived the supplementary budget and removed all the pending bills which are not on his account, because the pending bills are on the account of the 10-year rule. We want him to give the status of this and stop this malice, these plans, dirty plans and political endeavors is creating with Raila Odinga in Kisii. Those are the issues we need to be discussing. We need to understand why he is a double speak, why is Simba a double speak being protected by Raila Odinga and Matiang'i, that in his swearing in ceremony at the Gusii Stadium, he promised the Kisii residents that he will not buy any new vehicle, but he will refurbish them. Unfortunately, today, with me are documents which show that the procurement of his personal car, which is worth 18 million, which he said he will revert this money to the purchase of drugs and medicines in hospital, is at advanced stages, and actually a month or a few weeks coming, the vehicle will be received. We want him to discuss such issues, not planning to push away the president's visit. We want to know from Simba Arati the 51 million Wasiko funds which he illegally withdrew and used for items which were not budgeted for. It is very clear that a case was filed in court mid last year to contest the removal of 90 million, which was a grant on COVID-19 to the Department of Wasco, or the company called Wasco. When Simba Arati came over and came to office, it is actually confirmed that he influenced the petitioner, and this case was withdrawn, and the 51 million which was in the account, and a legal process which was actually being conducted, was withdrawn and allocated to items which were not budgeted for. Last but not least, we need Simba Arati to give an account of the procurement processes in awarding Huawei, which is a company doing the tracking system of medicine in the medical facilities in Kisii County. We want to know how the tendering was done, how the absorption of the company was done. We want also to know how and why Simba Arati had indicated that the office of the governor was to be renovated by a donor. What happened that the donor left and the Simba Arati went ahead to procure a company or a contract to be able to renovate his office? We want to know why Simba Arati is actually misusing the Gusii Stadium, which is not supposed to be his office. And he has spoiled the tartan track, which cost the Kisii taxpayers millions of money, and including some grant from the national government to have the Gusii Stadium elevated into the international standards. We want to know all these systems. We want to know the issues of waste disposal management. We want to know the issues of NAGRIP and the 100 million and his close cronies, companies which were actually brought from the northeastern region. The Somalis who are given these tenders were given by collusion so that Simba Arati will get a kickback. We want to know these issues, not that Raila is coming to Kisii. We want Raila to discuss these issues which I've addressed, not to protect Simba Arati, not to protect CS Matiang'i. We don't need you, Raila, in Kisii. What we need is peace, tranquility, harmony, and the progress. The progress which will come in respect to you giving the president room first to visit the Kisii community and give them their challenges. Now, as an opposition leader, you need to wait until 2027 when we come into elections, come to the ballot, and you compete with all other presidential contenders. If you win, you become our president. For now, we have the president-elect, William Samoei Ruto, and I want to assure the president that today, the Kisii community is eagerly waiting for you to come and also do what you did to the Luo Nyanza county governments and see us move from retrogressive politics, from corruption, which is being perpetuated and run by Simba Arati and also Raila Odinga, who is his mentor. We also want to welcome you. I want to assure you that the Kisii community are readily and eagerly waiting for you as you visit us and bring development, which is your agenda in the recovery of the economy of this country. Thank you very much.